Hello, I'm David DeCosmo. Welcome to ECTV Live. My co-host Wes Defender is taking a break today, but I have somebody filling his seat. As a matter of fact, both of our guest seats are filled today, and they may be surprising you as you see them, because you may be thinking to yourself, wait a minute, it's summertime, and these folks are obviously from the Salvation Army, and don't we see them around Christmas with the bell ringing? Well, that is true, but we'll get into that. Joining us today, Majors Karen and Bob Schmig from the Scranton Salvation Army. And Karen, let's start with you. Again, people picture the Salvation Army as the bell ringers at Christmas time, and that's got to be your biggest public relations outreach. But you don't shut down after that time.
We don't shut down after that time. We keep rolling 12 months out of a year. So we're doing a lot at our building at 500 South Washington. So we're there for people in need 24 hours a day.
Well, and that is where the Salvation Army is most noted for, because we realize that the funds from those bell ringing campaigns that we associate with Christmas are used to help people out. And now there's another aspect too, Bob. The thrift stores. Now, are they directly connected with the Army's mission?
Yes, they are. Although they are a separate operation, the way the Salvation Army has it set up, so they have their own set of Salvation Army officers. But we do work in conjunction with one another. We have our set goals to reach out for food and utility assistance and helping people in that way. And their program is about recovery. The ARC, the Adult Rehabilitation, the acronyms.
Well,
leave it in my mind, but it's not the other ARC. But yeah, and it's a live-in center where gentlemen can go and they stay and they get on-site 12-step programs and things such as that. And it's really changed a lot of lives. So we're glad to partner with them. They help us with clothing vouchers. When we have folks that come and need clothing vouchers,
right,
we work with them to get them vouchers to the thrift stores and things like that, so people can get things that they need and back on their feet. So
and not to mention the fact that the average person can go to one of these stores and get themselves some pretty good bargains.
Yes. Absolutely.
Because you folks have had donations from people, and in many cases, the original price tags are still on the clothing. These are people who got out and bought clothing to donate to the thrift stores, which are then offered at a very reasonable price, but then you can make, in your case, the division that deals with that can make use of that income to help these people out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the deals are another help all in itself.
Sure.
Trying to find affordable things these days. So, yeah, absolutely. And again, it all goes to help the recovery program. When people give, for instance, when they give check or cash or money order, that all comes to us. When they give food, that all comes to us, our operation, Major Karen and I. When they give clothing and things such as that immediately goes straight to ARC. And for them to be, the Salvation Army ARC, for them to be able to use that and raise funds for what they need in their thrift stores.
That's wonderful. Karen, when you talk about the need, the people's need all year round, how have you seen that need change during the last few years? Have we got more in need now, or is it just that needs have changed? Give us an idea.
I think that the need is more there. We have a lot of people that are losing their jobs, a lot of people that are trying to get on disability that are not able to do that. So we're there to help them with their their food. A lot of people are not able to get food stamps because of certain reasons going on.
Sure. Well, there's some, for instance, that may be employed,
Right.
but it's not at a level where they're making the kind of money where they can really sustain, especially a family situation.
Exactly, yeah. So we have a food pantry that's open 4 days a week, but we are also there for emergency basis. So if there's an emergency, we will stop doing what we're doing and give them food. But we have a food pantry that is there on site. We give them, it's all non-perishable food, but we do get some hamburger and hot dogs and things like that. We get donations from certain stores throughout the week, and so we have produce and stuff that we're able to give them to. We also have started a mobile food pantry. We've had it for a while now.
How does that work?
The mobile food pantry is done by Major Bob. Who is the company that helps us? It's a food bank.
Yeah, it's I think Weinberg.
Weinberg, yes. Weinberg,
yeah, they've always been very involved in trying to provide food for those in need. As a matter of fact, I remember at least in one case they actually took over the summer program to make sure the kids could come to these parks and get food.
Absolutely, yeah. So 2 times a month. We used to do it the 3rd Thursday of the month, but now we're doing it the 1st Thursday and the 3rd Thursday. It's open to anybody. We don't look at income or anything. All they have to do is the first initial, they have to sign a paper, just so we can keep up with, statistics and give them to the Weinberg.
That's more for records.
Correct, yeah. And so once they come in and fill that paper out or just sign their name, depending on if they've come before, then we have them pull their car up on the side of the building, and then we fill their car up with whatever Weinberg brings us that day.
Oh, wow.
It could be non-perishable food. It could be produce. Lately, we've been getting a lot of produce, and it's good produce, too. So it's whatever the food bank has in their facilities that they need to pass on to somebody else.
Wow.
And they get a lot of food that day.
What a great service that is to people.
Yes.
Now, so if someone is in that situation where they might be in need, it's just a matter of pulling up in line and
Correct.
giving the initial on that one paper.
Yep, that's it.
I mean, it's a shame that we see ourselves with the need.
Right.
But it's amazing how many programs are out there for people who have these needs, and unfortunately there's not one page you can turn to somewhere that says, well, here's all the services available, because there are plenty.
Yes.
You got to know they exist.
Yes.
That's why we wanted to have you folks on our program, because again, you don't always associate the work of the Army with everyday needs throughout the year. It
Correct.
is. Now, I don't want to downplay what's done at Christmas time. That is, Bob, your biggest outreach, I think, is it not?
Absolutely. Major Karen heads up the toy program there, and the Christmas food boxes that we give out and things like that. So that's huge there. And on the fundraising side with the kettles, that's very key. That goes far beyond just Christmas time for that. The funds we raise there, we have to make that last year-round. We do continue to get funding year-round, but when summer comes around, people are thinking of other things, and it's kind of out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. So it's really important that we do very well with the kettles and year-round.
And I'm thinking that you can't just put those kettles anywhere. So there's work that has to be done in terms of being able to set those up in viable locations. And then you've got to have the people to ring the bells. You don't have 50 people working for you that just can go out and handle these donation sites.
Absolutely. There's a number of factors that take into consideration, where first of all, getting permission, obviously, from the business owner or corporation. Next one, getting people to stand the kettle. Having places that have high foot traffic that will be beneficial to
Sure.
helping to raise the funds. So all of those things come together. But you hit the nail on the head. The volunteers. I mean, the volunteers. Well, and the business owners are also a volunteer of sorts. Allowing us to stand in front of their stores. So it's about the volunteers, and without them, we couldn't do what we do.
Sure. Well, and while we're on that, the toys, because Major Karen,
Yes.
Bob mentioned that you sort of handle the aspect. I recall covering, when I was working with Channel 22, some of that distribution. And the long lines of people. I believe they sign up in advance for that.
They do. Usually in late
me.
October, we'll have the dates available. We try to do it for about a week, and then maybe do some makeup days if we didn't get enough people to come in. But we did quite a lot of families this last year. And so they sign up, and they just have to qualify as far as bringing in their paperwork, and just they have to be Lackawanna in the county of Lackawanna.
Right, in the
Yes.
case of the Scranton office.
Yes.
Now remember, there's likely a Salvation Army unit in your community, so if you're not watching in Scranton per se, please check them out, because most of the same services and benefits are available at your local Salvation Army outlet.
Correct. So yeah, we help a lot of children out with toys and clothing, and then we do food boxes also. So I believe we did close to over 300 families last year.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's toys and food boxes?
That's toys and food boxes, correct.
What a
Yeah.
great boon that is to them, and especially at that time of the year. Do you find that you wind up serving some of these same people then as the year continues, now that they know they have a resource they can turn to?
We do. I would say probably half of them are returning families that come back. Their circumstances just continue on, in the need, and it's good for the children to have a happy
Yeah.
Christmas. So yeah.
I mentioned that there are a number of agencies that provide various types of services. Do you try to coordinate with them at all to make sure you're not duplicating services?
We do. There are several agencies that will share lists with us, so we make sure that they're not duplicated. We take turns every year that if they're duplicated, they'll either get taken off of our list or the other agency's list. So we're not, duplicating those kids.
Sure,
And then,
so people aren't
we
left
have-
out.
Correct. And then we have room to add more children in case circumstances come that they're not able to give toys. Maybe they just lost their job, or something happened just right before Christmas, so then those spots will be open for those families.
Sure. Now, Major Bob, but in the case of Salvation Army, you have what amounts to, is it technically a church in each location? Is it just an office space in each location? Because you do have services, do you not?
Right. We do, and it all depends on where we're at. All of the Salvation Army is a church. The Salvation Army, a lot of people don't know that. We're a religious organization, a church, what have you. But as far as specific services, those go on at what we call our Salvation Army Corps. And we have a Corps obviously here in Scranton. We have one in Wilkes-Barre, West Pittston. And then we have what are called service extension units in various locations around the county as well, which aren't full Salvation Armies, but they offer assistance
Right.
there as well.
So they are a place to turn for.
Right. So as far as if somebody wants to come find a place to worship, they're more than welcome. We're 500 South Washington and Scranton, and as I said before, also West Pittston and Wilkes-Barre.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Now, what about your own ranks? You technically you're both officers in the Salvation Army. Are those ranks being replenished? Do you have recruitment drives like the Army does?
Yep. We do, we do. At our divisional headquarters, which is in Philadelphia, they do recruit officers there. If there's somebody that's in our corps that's interested in becoming an officer, first they have to come in attendance to the church services, and
Right.
and we, the Salvation Army, call it our calling. If they feel like it's their calling to become a Salvation Army officer, then we will work with them and recruit them into different things, and like giving out food boxes and stuff, and kind of giving them the tour of what a Salvation Army
Sure.
officer is,
Sure.
if you would say,
First-hand
and yeah, and then get them in touch with who they need to be in touch with to go to the Salvation Army College that's in this area.
Now, we talked about the bell ringers being volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you use volunteers throughout the year?
We do. On our mobile food pantry, we have probably about 20 people that come out. When this food comes, it comes usually in crates and boxes. We have to then bag everything. Like if we get boxes of string beans, we bag them into bags so the family can just pull their
Sure.
car up
It's
and
easy
go.
for them to-
Correct,
right.
yes. So we have to have volunteers to do that. We had, I think the last mobile food pantry, we had about 180 families. So we have to have people there that work to get that food together so that we can just put them in their car and, have them go on their way. So, yes.
So volunteers, are you always looking for some then?
Yes, we are. Definitely on that first Thursday and the third Thursday of the month, we're looking
And
for
how about
volunteers.
your other daily operations? Volunteers essential there as well?
Depending on what's going on, if somebody wants to come to volunteer during the day, we'll have to see what's going on. We have Vacation Bible School coming up. We have things that are coming up that we need certain volunteers to help with us.
So the
Yes.
Vacation Bible School, for instance, you'd need what amounts to, we'll call them a teacher, although.
Correct.
And so what age groups do you handle for that?
We do age 5 to 13, I believe, in the Vacation Bible School.
Is there a cost involved in that?
There is not. No,
So
there
they
is
can,
not.
the parents can send their kids?
Yes, yes.
I mean,
Yep.
talk about a bargain.
Yep. And we
You see
feed
the
'em-
cost of some summer camps right now. That's
Correct, yeah. We feed them a snack, and we do things like singing and a craft, and they make their own snacks, and so it's really fun, yeah.
And when
Yeah.
will that run?
That runs from July 16th, starting on the Monday to that following Friday. So it's
Okay.
for a week at nighttime.
And you'll need, I assume, pre-registration for that just because of supplies.
Correct, yes. They can come down to the office at 500 South Washington and sign up for that. We'll have applications ready to go.
Now, see, there's another aspect of the Salvation Army that perhaps you might not have known about, and yet what a treasure that is to people who want to be able to get their kids in a decent day camp setting
Correct.
and really get fed as well at the same time.
Absolutely.
Sure.
And if they want to volunteer for say the Vacation Bible School, I just want to mention we do background checks. We want to keep our children safe.
Well, working with the children, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So there is that extra step just so they're prepared when they come. But most definitely, we welcome a lot of volunteers.
Sure. Well, now, what
volunteers.
about that if it isn't that program dealing with the kids, and someone wants to give of their time to help out? Is there any kind of training that's made available to them for the roles you're going to put them in? Either of you can take that.
Well, again, it all depends. If it's for the mobile food pantry, for instance, they generally can come in that day. They really don't need to sit and watch a full
It's
day.
more a manual labor kind of thing,
You
yeah.
just jump in
Yeah.
and so. No, there's for that there's not.
Right. It'd be more just, again, for dealing with the kids to have that background check,
Right.
which is required in virtually every type of agency now that deals with children at all. What do you see for your future in terms of what the Army will be offering locally? Do you see the need to expand what you're doing, and is that even possible?
I see I see it expanding as far as being available for people for food boxes. We right now have appointments that are available, but like I said, we are available if it's an emergency. I also see us continuing to working with Weinberg Foundation and hopefully doing more of those food drives. And I just, we have children's programs. We didn't mention those during
What kind of programs?
We have two different programs. We have a music program that we usually do on Monday nights, or excuse me, Wednesday nights, and then Monday we do like a scouting program that has kind of a Salvation Army Christian twist to it.
Oh.
And they earn badges just like a Girl Scout and Boy Scout, but we, like I said, we have a Christian twist to it. So they learn about God, and then they can earn badges. We do cooking. We do, the boys have put together race cars and have raced those, learning about flowers. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that they can learn.
What kind of age group are you talking about for that?
The children's programs are from 4 to 18.
And is this a year-round program?
It's during this fall when school is in.
Okay.
Yeah, so from September to about May we do the programs.
How's the turnout been for that?
We've had about 30 children that have come, and it's been great. We're hoping to expand a little bit more. We have volunteers that come out during the week and help us out. The music program is great. We
And now, see, right away when you see the music program, my mind goes to the Guys and Dolls
Yeah.
movie and the Salvation Army band playing there. Are you putting Salvation Army bands together? What?
We're trying to. We're trying to. We're gonna try to keep it going with the next generation.
Yeah.
And but we teach them brass instruments, and we teach them piano, and then we also have a drama club and a dance club that we do all on Wednesday nights.
So
Yes.
do you put on have the kids put on performances?
They do on Sunday mornings at the end of the program, or the end of the year, if you
Yeah.
will call it. They put on performances, yes.
I wonder if you have some of these youngsters that wind up coming back to help you out as volunteers, even if it's ringing the bells.
Right.
Or do you see them returning?
We've had a few of them that have returned as adults and said, when I was young, I used to come to your programs. And they've kind of strayed away from us for a little bit, as young adults, but have come as older adults and said, I remember, what you taught me or what was taught
Sure.
to me, and I couldn't get away from that, so they came back.
Well, those teen years are the ones where they tend to get away from the churches, and at that point they know everything, of course. So as you become a teenager, that's pre-requirement.
Yep.
And then, of course, they find out a few years after that maybe they don't know everything. Maybe it's good to go back to some of their sources
Yeah.
in the beginning. How can people that are interested in the Salvation Army, either in terms of helping you or finding out what kind of help you can provide to them, how can they get that information?
So they can give us a call at 570-344-9878. And we have an employee in the office who answers the phone, and she can give you any information you need. I did want to mention that if we are not able to help, we do have a list of other agencies that we will give that information to.
So you can refer.
We can refer to other agencies, yes.
The one thing, and I don't want to not ask you about this, but when a person finds themselves or a family finds themselves in a very difficult situation, they're sometimes reluctant to turn to anyone for help for fear of their information getting out to others. I mean,
Correct.
perhaps you can touch on the protectiveness of their situation.
Yeah, so the information that we ask is usually just birth dates, and we do ask for Social Security numbers, but we keep it to the last 4 digit, and we don't copy any of that information.
Oh, okay.
The information that we keep in our files is usually just the copy of their driver's license, and then just information about their finances, and we just kind of touch a little bit into their finances to see what's going on in their situation that they need help with. So everything is protective. We keep everything in a locked room, and so nothing is, and we don't share information to other agencies.
Okay.
We refer them to other agencies, but we don't share information to other agencies.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you see, Bob, as the immediate needs for the Salvation Army locally?
Definitely just keeping that financial support going, because as I indicated before, we don't do this on our own.
Right.
It's this is a community endeavor, and we really look to the generosity of folks out there who are willing to reach out and help another person and to be able to go forward, because that's what it's all about.
And they don't need a bell ringer to get a check to you.
Absolutely not. Yeah, yeah. You can send it in the mail. You can walk it in. You walk it in and get a personal thank you from me. Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
Well, I think that's important that people know that you're there, and they can turn to you for help. And if their circumstance does not allow you to help them, you can send them to an agency that,
Correct.
that will be able to help. Well, I thank you so much for joining us
Thank you.
on the program
Thank you.
today. We will look for you more often, not just out there at Christmas time. We'll watch for you in other places, and I'll watch for some of those bands
Okay.
hitting the streets. I always enjoyed Guys and Dolls, so
You can find us on Facebook as well.
yes.
Yeah,
Well, that's, today's social media is very important, so you are on.
We are on
Facebook?
Facebook. Yes.
The
Yes.
Salvation Army Scranton Citadel Corps. Just type that in, and you come right to us.
Okay, well, you can find out more then by way of their Facebook page, I'm sure. So, Karen and Bob Schmig, Majors, thank you so much for joining us on ECTV Live. I'm
Thank
David
you for having
DeCosmo.
us.
Till we see you again next time, here's hoping all your news is good.